gotta conserve your resources when you're in the frontier. You don't get to see this as common, intuitive observables on Earth. So when we go into a frontier, our normal or code intuition no longer applies. This rule works when you go to the bottom of the ocean or in the stratosphere or wherever you find your frontier under the stage of an electron microscope. Your normal everyday life intuition no longer applies. And that's why frontiers are rich in discovery, because things aren't the normal, they aren't the usual.
Welcome to Wildin Out, your THL Wild Show. My name is ItsMeMikeV. I'm joined by NHL NJ Fan 1, Memnarch, and our special guest tonight, Coin Concedes host, Ridiculous Hat. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good, you?
I'm good. How about you, Memnarch?
Dude, I'm doing really good. Like, had a very interesting weekend.
That's awesome. Hat, how about you?
Hanging in there. I think within the context of THL, also I do other things besides host Coin Concede. But Coin Concede is great. I agree.
That's true. You might be in some way related to THL.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I assumed you were just going to say host of the Vicious Syndicate podcast. That's what you meant, right?
Oh, this is news to me. You have THL connections?
I do.
Really?
I just assumed people knew that, so I didn't even need to say it.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Anyways.
THL stands for Total Hat Law. We all know that.
I see.
What I say
Exactly.
goes.
So,
Exactly.
learn
So,
something new.
what's everybody been playing?
Lots of Reno Priest, some Reno Mage, some Quest Mage. Very boring stuff.
Boring stuff.
I've been playing the Noble Even Shaman deck and the Virtuous Pod Paladin.
Baku Gen. That's right. You're one of those degens.
Oof.
I've been playing a lot of Hades. It's a great game. Big fan.
Still need to get that.
That's
Definitely.
awesome.
Yeah, definitely worth getting. Also, I got Legend and Wild. I got my double Legend locked up yesterday with. I played Evil Mage into Evil Priest or Quest Mage into Reno Priest to get there from most of the way up. Through about like gold, I played Turbo Druid just to turn the brain off and like mulligan for a big and a pirate and just slam the cards down until somebody blows up.
Nice.
But I had a very entertaining game yesterday. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
If you are a quest mage and you're
Yes.
going second, and your hand includes Sorcerer's Apprentice, the quest, and the coin, and your Reno Priest opponent keeps 2 cards, would you play the quest on 1?
No.
I mean, Lucy has 3 mana, right? So you
It
can
is.
hold it until
Yeah,
their
hold it.
turn 3.
Yes.
Their
All
turn
right.
4, actually.
So we wouldn't play it on 1. Let's say you draw a Violet Spellwing. Would you play Spellwing quest on 2?
You kind of have to.
Yeah.
Well, my opponent didn't do that. Would you then play quest on 3 or just pink face?
Yeah. Well, you would want. I mean, if you haven't played it by then you would just ping face. I mean, you're not gonna make any quest progress.
Yeah, well, they agreed with you, and they held quest in hand, and the hand I elucidated on 4 mana was quest, coin, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Magic Trick, Ray of Frost, Evocation, Arcane Giant.
Oh my god.
I took that
Could've gone
hand,
off.
and then they didn't want to play anymore. I was going to play the coin, and then they just left. I don't know what happened.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what?
So much for interactivity.
I
Opponent was
interacted with their hand, and they interacted with the concede button. I don't know. It worked out.
Well, you didn't even get a chance to interact with their hand from what it sounds like. They just
I got to
left
take
the
it.
game and said, nope, not allowed.
I mean, you got to play the quest, right?
No, nobody got to play the quest. It was in my hand.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very interactive to me.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm
Yeah, we can
hearing
talk
here
about
is Reno Priest and Quest Mage are not very interactive decks at all.
What I'm hearing here is play your quest before 3 mana. That's what I heard.
That makes sense. Especially against Reno Priest. We'll talk about the Anoyo team Hattleship matchup later, but I don't know if your teammate Based Inc. talked about my matchup with her, but something similar kind of happened in our matchup that was very painful for me, where I just turned the game off. I think that was the first time that I ever just shut the game in the middle of a match. And it involved Mally Druid and Alicia. She just took my quest. She just took the whole thing.
Well, before we get into that, how about we move on to the analysis of last week?
Yeah,
Just
let's move on to the meta.
Big overview. So there were 38 archetypes overall. Druid was actually the most popular class for the first time. Priest wasn't the most popular. It's especially unusual because Druid was recently nerfed. And that means people aren't really bringing J Druid. There are only 5, which is still, in my opinion, a lot for J Druid, given its state. But most people are turning to Malygos and Aggro Druid. More people are playing Mally than Aggro, but they both have sizable representation now.
Yes. I brought Mally Druid this week, like I said, and my opponent brought aggro druid, which smashed my face. And I mean, druid's in a good place, I think, even with the nerf. I'm surprised, like you said, at the number of J druids being played. I like to see. I have to look at some of the list and see what they're doing to make up for the ramp. To get to 8 quicker.
I will say the best list from my experience has not changed very much, if at all.
Okay.
Like
I
people-
did end up playing that, and myself, I brought J Druid, and I didn't change my list, and I did feel slow. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just it's not what it used to be. But
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a lot of targeted brings like Mecha'thun, Rogue, and Exodia Mage. So people, as always, are countering. And then finally we have a few fun brings. We have a Secret Hunter, doing specialty, of course.
Yep.
And
It was good, by the way.
It was good.
It was good.
Good to know. There's also a Reno Demon Hunter. That was brought by Martian. Martian was playing it a bunch on stream, decided to bring it this week. And I'm not sure if he won or not with it. But
I like that.
yeah, it's a fun little deck.
You had 3 attempts to win 1 game, right?
Pretty much. So, but yeah, otherwise, not much has really changed in terms of class win rates. There's certain classes that stick out more than others. Lots of priests and warlock bans, as always. Some mage bans, a few druid bans. A lot of priests and warlock in general being brought. Mage also seems to be doing very good. Hunter rocking that 100% win rate. You gotta love it.
Woo!
I told you it was good.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
good stuff. And there was 1 win for the Demon Hunter, by the way. 5
impressive.
losses, but 1 win. So I don't know if it actually got that 1 win. Regardless, it
3
doesn't look like
decks.
Demon Hunter should be brought.
3 decks, 1 and 5.
I got 2
That's
of those. My opponent brought Demon Hunter and lost 2 games with it, so
Okay. All
Did
right.
they get the final win?
no.
No.
Was it the odd Demon Hunter or was it the Reno Demon Hunter?
It was odd.
Okay, so that means the Reno Hunter, or the Reno Demon Hunter did get the win. So there's that.
Okay. Well, it could have been the other odd Demon Hunter.
Oh, true. Well, let me pretend, okay?
Okay, yeah, no, it's all pretend because in a world where
Let
the
me
Reno
believe.
Demon Hunter won, that's a better world. So you're
It
right.
is. It is. And this is 2020. We're not allowed to have good things or nice
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
So-
you're right.
Anyways, moving on. We have a fun little interview for our guest.
Yes. All right. Are you ready, Hat?
As ready as I'll ever be. I'm actually just going to look up and see which Demon Hunter won so I can tell you.
Awesome.
But you can start the interview. You can do your
Okay. All right. So, how has the dynamic of Hattleship changed with its new members? Going from the expansion of 3 members to 5 members, the addition of Corvette and Base Tank. How has the dynamic changed?
So, do you all know? Are you familiar with Corbett's work?
Yes. I am,
Yeah,
specifically.
I was. I am. I was in the competitive Reddit sub or Discord, so I know him from there, and I've watched him before.
Yeah. He's good at Hearthstone.
Yeah.
So, having him on the team has made us all better at Hearthstone. He looks at replays and he posts his own lists, and he's just like, this is just the thing I'm going to do. And I'm like, do you happen to have deck codes for reasons not related to me copying all of those lists directly? But usually I copy the lists quite frequently. It's just kind of nice. The 3 versus 5 is very different. Our team's prep process was pretty organic last season, and it's still pretty organic this season, but having 5 people, it just makes it a bigger room to bounce ideas off of. So both Corbett and Based have been great additions. I actually am not sure it was smart of me to add Based, because she's ahead of me in the crossover standings again, and she's first and I'm second again. And if this happens 2 seasons in a row, why did I bring her on the team if she's just going to be really good at Hearthstone?
Well,
Why did
Well,
I do
if she's gonna win, at least she'll win for you.
You
know?
did say, though, THL stands for Team Hat's Law, right?
Something like that. Sounds like
so
something I'd say.
it's Hat's Law, so just ban her. Problem solved.
But then we don't win the championship. It's a
No,
lot of
no.
different
You
directions.
you ban everyone standing in your way from being number one. So whoever
Yeah.
you face, you just ban. And then if anyone's better than you, you ban them. Eventually, you have to be the best.
Yeah, that might be lonely. I feel like that's a lonely place.
Yeah. One is the loneliest number after all.
I think I've heard a song like that.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know what you're talking about.
remember, if you're not first, you're last.
But what if there's only one position and I'm first and last?
Yeah,
I mean, your first.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I gotta earn it. It's fine. But having Base and Corbett on the team, great. And of course, running it back with Bill and A2, it's been successful so far. We're happy about it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Even though the wild meta has been a bit of a roller coaster this expansion.
It has. It has. And I got to say, I know A2 is a teammate, and A2 is a fantastic teammate, you know, full of info, and he's just very consistent. He's on our hero team, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next question.
Yeah, next question.
All right, I can take this one.
Um,
So, you mentioned before that Coin Conceit is not the only thing you've done, and you also work on the Vicious Syndicate podcast. How's your experience been making that?
Well, I get to hear Zacho secrets a day before anybody else, and that's just fantastic. People go in with the assumption that, like, we collaborate ahead of time and that I have access to all this data and stuff and that I know things. No. I know how to make the audio sound good. And then Zacho says stuff, and I'm like, that is really smart. And then I edit it and publish it, and it's cool. I'm a big fan of that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. And this is me being honest on the show. I probably should just say that I listen to the Vicious Syndicate podcast, but I listen to Coin Conceit. I don't listen to the Vicious Syndicate podcast. I probably should. I read the meta report. I just haven't. I just never subscribed to it. I probably should get that and get some more info because I suck this season. So any resource would help. Yeah.
I will say I appreciate the options that he gives. It's not perfect for the formats we see in THL, but there are times when he does mention a few different techs, the way classes are developing, which direction the meta is going, and that can really be insightful. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I can imagine expanding on the meta report is fantastic. You know.
Yeah, it is definitely not just more of the same from the Data Reaper reports.
Yeah.
Yep. And Zach, like, you can hear this in his voice when he first came to me and said he wanted to do a podcast. He's like, I don't listen to podcasts, too much bullshitting. And you can hear that in his voice. And very much he's all about let's get to business, let's get to the facts, and let's talk about what's going on. And it's just a week by week. It's additional information. It is the Sports Center equivalent of going over the stats in a way that breaks it down in a meaningful way. So I've been very happy to be a part of that, and the success early on has been great, and the reception has been awesome.
Well, that's fantastic.
All right, I'll listen to this week's episode after the show. Definitely. I'm not just saying that either. I'm actually going to.
When's the next Wild Report coming out?
It's when they stop nerfing wild cards.
That's never going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I got this next question, right? Because I have to. So, where's the best pizza, and where's the best pizza outside of New Haven, Connecticut, in New York City? I mean, we all know that the best pizza is in New Haven, Connecticut, but
Those are fighting words.
I agree that the best pizza in Connecticut is in New Haven. I 100% agree with that.
Okay.
As far as the best pizza in New York City, I don't know if you've heard, 2020, there's not a lot of outdoor dining going on. So I'm going to say in my kitchen when my wife makes it. That's where the best pizza is.
Okay.
Yes.
Homemade pizza is always good. I'll
Yeah.
take that.
Yep.
Fair
Though
enough.
also, my favorite pizza back in the day when we would go out and about, the best pizza was the dollar pizza slices, either at Penn Station or right by Times Square, when maybe you were in questionable states of sobriety. The The
Oh, I know
dollar-shaped
which
beer
ones you're talking
sponges
about.
are awesome. Oh, they're so good.
Oh
you
man, I
can get
remember
that.
stopping by there and I didn't have any cash on me and I was like starving and I'm like, I have to get it. I just have to. There's nothing else here. I need to do it. So I had to pay like, I don't know, it was like a $3.50 ATM fee for dollar pizza and I could only take out 20s and it was worth it, but
It was
wow.
100% worth it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It's $1 per slice. If you get toppings, you're a tourist. Like, just give them the $2. They're not going to smile. They're not going to take out their earbuds. They're just going to give you 2 slices of pizza on a plate. And the throughput of those places, they are probably selling a full pizza every minute. Like, it's insane.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Memories.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that any pizza in questionable states of sobriety is probably better than any pizza sober because it just, enhances the experience.
Magic. Pizza magic.
Pizza magic. It's its own topping.
Yes.
Yeah. Memnarch, you want to take the next question?
All right, which deck is the most fun to you, even if it's not competitive?
Like, right now or ever?
Ever.
Oh, boy. I think the deck that I've tried to make work the most times is before they nerfed my sweet wormy boy. My sweet
no.
mana worm.
Oh,
Before
no.
they nerfed him,
Oh,
Oh, I thought you were gonna go
Aggro Freeze. Aggro Freeze is something that people tried for so many years. And it never really worked unless you were, like, specifically LVGE, who always seemed to make it work, and, like, Freeze Mage with Leper Gnomes and Cold Light Oracles, and, like, that's not how you're supposed to do it. But I tried, and it never actually worked. And you know now that looking down from Wormy Heaven, Mana Worm is looking at Ray of Frost like we would have been so good together. But that's why he's up in Wormy Heaven.
Did you play Aggro Freeze during the Karazhan era?
I played Aggro Freeze every era it was available.
Okay. Because I am with you on that. I loved that deck. I was not very competitive at the time, but that was my first rank 5 deck.
Yep.
And
You want to
are-
know how I know you weren't competitive at that time? Because you said Karazhan meta and a deck that wasn't mid-range Shaman.
yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think that meta actually had opportunity for a bunch of like tier 2 decks. I got Legend 1 month in that meta with Secret Hunter because I wanted to not play mid-range Shaman. That was the only reason to play the deck.
Yeah,
But then they would just go super wide on board, and I'd be like, Unleash the Hounds, take 6.
Yeah.
I remember exactly what you were talking about. That was quite the time.
Spirit
And
Claws.
now
Good
I know some people, even after Aggro Freeze kind of rotated into Wild, they coined it Thermometer Mage, the new builds, because you would burn the face and freeze them. So I was kind of partial towards that name after.
I bet people tried really hard to get other people to say that.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like a name that people were like, no, you guys, it's Thermometer Mage.
Yeah.
Oh, this
That's
was
what it
like
sounded
2
like.
years after Aggro Freeze was considered a thing. This is like when Aluneth was just rotating out.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
yeah. Anyways. Oh, this is a fun next question because you were mentioning what you were playing. Can you give us a 60 sales pitch of why everyone should be playing Hades?
So is this 60 seconds or like in the 60s?
In the
Because
60s.
In the
Okay.
60s, like a,
while I am old, I was not alive in the 60s.
Okay,
So-
let's do 60 seconds then. Make it easy.
Okay. Even though I was actually born in the 60s. I was born April 20th, 1969. Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Hey.
I just made that up.
Huh.
So Hades is this game where it is a roguelike driven by story somehow. The sales pitch here is my wife was playing Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisp, which is a great game, and I was playing Hades, and I was loving Hades. And I'm like, honey, you should buy this game. And she's like, I don't know if I'll like it. And I was like, honey, you should buy this game. She's like, I don't like roguelikes, and I don't like action games and all that. I'm like, honey, just buy it. And she's played 100 hours of it. Literally 100.
Wow.
So if you find yourself better than a person that doesn't like a genre and played 100 hours of a game, then you should immediately just go get it. If you're on PC, go to the Epic Game Store, download Rocket League for free. I know you don't have to play Rocket League. It just by getting it until November 1st, you get a $10 off coupon, and then you take that $10 off coupon, you go to Hades, you buy Hades for $15, and you play it for 100 hours. That's the sales pitch.
All right then.
That's a a great sales pitch.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's advertising. All right. I think the next question you kind of already answered with the first question.
Yeah, I think we can skip that and go
skip that.
to the next one.
Yeah, where did your username originate from?
So my username, I'm actually going to direct this. My good friend Diamond wrote an interview with me on the THL website on the blog, which you should go check out. Lots of really good content over there. And I actually answered this question about where my username came from over there.
Okay.
Yeah, let me
Perfect.
grab the link for that, and we can link it in our chat. Oh, you already beat me to it.
Yes.
Boom.
I think I did it here. And also, I talked about this for sure in an interview I did with Rarin, which I'll also because he interviewed me for 30 minutes. What a great guy, by the way. Really big fan of that dude. And we did an interview on that. I actually don't know if I might be mixing up my interviews. Do too many of these.
Okay, I think...
Popular guy.
Here it is. All right, I found this interview. I talked about it in there. But yeah, basically, the short version is I walked into the high school cafeteria one day in the year 2000, and there was this girl wearing this really, really silly hat. It was like a Dr. Seuss hat, but Jamaican and droopy. And I turned to my friend, and I was like, she's so cool, she has to wear that ridiculous hat. And later that day, I went home, and I was making a username in the Magic the Gathering message board because it was the year 2000, and that's what you do back then. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do, so I just like, ridiculous hat, and I typed it in, and 20 years later, here we are.
Wow.
That's like my username. Except, like,
yes.
I typed it, like, Memnarch was a card in, like, 2001, I think.
Yeah, it was in Mirrodin. Or was it
Mirrodin.
it in... No, Darksteel, right?
Darksteel, Mirrodin block, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was the greatest card ever printed, so I named myself, so I just, called myself that. 20 years later, here we are.
It's funny how much of an impact Magic has on people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, okay, we have one more like real question, and then the rest look like just quick knock 'em out questions.
Yeah.
Who is your biggest competition in the Wild Series this season, do you think?
Ashes the Pirate. I keep drawing.
God.
Your mistake. Your mistake was drawing Patches. Patches is actually THL's biggest enemy as well. Not Patches Payback, but Patches itself, because there is a spectate bug with Patches. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yeah. The client is getting a little long in the tooth, and I really hope that there are plans for Hearthstone 2.0 at some point, because at this point it's just being held together by duct tape, and as much as I know and respect and like the people working on the game, they're just trying to do too many things. So I'm hoping the client gets some nudges in the near future, or maybe like a larger scale revamp in the long future. But there's a lot of really good competition in Wild this season. I do think that some of the matchup spread and variance is kind of difficult to chart right now, even though there seem to be two pretty clear strategies when you approach a lineup of either ban Reno Priest or target Reno Priest. Seems to be pretty clear which direction you go. But with that being said, I don't know. I've played against a lot of really, really strong players in Wild Series so far this season, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that's the most impressive part of the series is the talent that we're attracting to THL, especially this season. I think the growth in talent has been amazing, and I can see it expanding next season. I just see this growing from here, and I'm really happy for it.
I'm pretty sure half of like the top 50 is in THL right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of people, and a lot of people that know each other are in THL right now, which I really like, because all the high legend people kind of roll in packs. That's the great thing about the Wild community, is that it feels like a house party that just moves from lawn to lawn or whatever.
It
like
really
you go
is.
you start off the day, like you could be over in Still's stream, or you could be over in you could go watch Mom stream late at night, and it's all the same people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a big family, especially the NA server. Everyone knows each other. Everyone talks together. And it's really welcoming. And just seeing everyone just hop onto THL as well, it's just an even better feeling. So.
Yep. We just got to get Burnt in here. Got to do it.
Yeah, if Burnt can finally stream. It's been a while.
All right. These next 3 questions, we're just going to rapid fire. Favorite card back of all time?
It is a tie between Edwin Van Cleef and Pi.
All right.
All right. Proudest Hearthstone moment?
Twice in one match, my knife juggler killed a Leroy the turn it was played.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
And proudest pun?
So, I don't know if y'all know this. I'm actually kind of an amateur naval scholar. And I think that in the modern world, the Norwegian Navy is the most modern. Even more advanced than the U.S. They actually have barcodes on the sides of their ships, so when they get back to port, they can Scandinavian.
Oh, God. I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a groaner.
Yep.
That's
Hey,
a
Marty.
real groaner.
Hey, Marty.
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it.
Do you know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
You would think it's R,
But his
heart
first
is-
love be the C.
Exactly.
I still do.
All right, moving on. We have the conference breakdown coming up.
Yeah.
Mike, which conference do you think we should cover first?
I'll start with green.
Green? All right, let's move on to green then. First up, we have Seas of Cheese versus Wild THL Fanatics.
All right. Seas of Cheese versus Wild THL Fanatics. Wild THL Fanatics continuing their come up, winning 17-6. The first matchup, Slad versus Electric Sheep City. We had 3 sweeps in this match. We had a 4-1 versus a matchup of a 3-1 versus a 4-1, and looks like Electric Sheep City came out on top. Electric Sheep City swept, Draco Cat swept, and Unlimited Power swept. We had 2 subs. We had Siege subbing in for Sage, and it looks like that's going to be permanent. And Unlimited Power subbing in for Mike Low, which also seems like it's going to be permanent. I think. Go ahead.
This just looks like Wild THL Fanatics returning to form. They had a rough start, and now they're really hitting their stride and getting dominant.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is like 3 matches in a row where they're really coming back. They had a rough start to the season, and they're showing us that they're playoff material. They're not. I think I underestimated them personally at the beginning of the season. I was saying, there's not room for them at the top, and they're saying no, there is. So I'm interested to see how this is going to shake out with them, especially in the playoffs. I'm impressed, and that's it for this matchup.
All right. Well, we had one more matchup in this conference: Diamond Club versus Power Creeps. Want to give us the rundown on this too?
Yeah. So Power Creeps winning 18-8 over Diamond Club. Not a huge surprise, to say the least. Hydro subbing in for Rami. Rami is focusing on GMs. A big surprise in this matchup: Jack losing to Whiskey Wolf. Diamond Club always seeming to pull out one win in every match. 1 or 2, but mostly they'll always just pull off one surprise win. But Hydro sweeping, no real surprise decks in here. In either matchup, I just didn't see. There was 3 Mally Druids on Power Creeps, but as we said before, that's just average now. Power Creeps kind of bringing 4 Druid, 4 Priest, 4 Warlock. Memnarch, you're the only one that kind of stuck out with your deck list. And Memnarch, do you have any insight into your matchup?
Odd Demon is really bad. Don't play it. Don't bring it.
That is quite the insight. Yeah. Top tier right there. You heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
I mean, there's not much to say. Big Shaman, my opinion's changing a Big Shaman because you kind of just high roll win. It's unbeatable if you high roll. So, maybe this is the best deck in the Conquest format. It honestly feels like if you can't really target it, like it's gonna win eventually. It's gonna 3 games, like it's gonna win one. It doesn't matter what your opponent's playing. Like
Yeah,
this might be a good deck going forward.
yeah, I agree. I lost to Big Shaman this week, and it felt painful. No, it was last week. Either way, it was painful. Last week when I lost to Big Shaman, and every week I'm losing to something, but when it was just it felt unstoppable. So I'm impressed with his performance, and I agree. So yeah, Power Creep's winning 18-8 over Diamond Club. Reverb saying Diamond Club legit the most consistent team.
You're not wrong.
Not wrong at all.
Memnarch found the Big Shaman Cave and is now blessed with the ways of BIG. You're not
Yeah.
wrong either.
No,
A big
Love
of
it.
G, yes.
yeah. All right, that's it for this matchup. That's it for the Green Conference.
All
Moving
right.
on to who wants to go next? Memnarch,
I
Hat?
can with blue.
All right,
All right.
blue it is. First up, we have Bash Brothers versus Patches Payback. You want to walk us through
All
this?
right, Patch's Payback winning 16-10. Now that I'm pretty sure we predicted this, right?
I think we did not. I think we had Bash Brothers over, actually.
Oh yeah, you're right. We did it because Bash Brothers was the leader, so this is a massive upset.
Yes.
So Reverb losing to Sir Louse, Mr. Python sweeping Dirty Mike, and Nubinator losing to Lefty, Jailstorm getting swept by Tony Montana, and Zeroshio losing to Brushy Tuna. Like this was like there's 2 sweeps, but for like I don't think I've seen that before.
The sweeps pretty much canceled each other out, and it came to 3 5-game matches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is a scrappy match. Like, these players played really hard. When it comes down to game 5s, you're talking about either a conquest strategy working as intended, but both players being aware of what's going on, or you're talking about near coin flip of what could have happened, of how it could have gone. So I haven't looked closely at the deck list here, but to see the games go down to this kind of score outside of Tony and Mr. Python, this looks like a hard fought match, and getting a 10-point loss, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
This is a 4-1 for Patches, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. And
Like,
also,
I'm not
I think-
sure how to talk about this. Like, I don't think I've seen this before.
I'll say that I've been picking against Surlos consistently, and he's 5-1. I got to give him credit. You know, he's having a fantastic season. Mr. Python also 5-1. I have to give him credit. I don't think I've been picking them enough, especially Surlos. I believe I've been picking against him consistently. So, yeah, give them credit where credit is due, and that's something I have to do when I underestimate players.
You know what you've just done? You've cursed them for the rest of the season.
Yes, exactly.
You're supposed to keep picking against them.
Yeah,
Don't tell them.
yeah, I know.
Anyways, on to the next matchup. We have the Cult Wild versus the Grimscale Gang.
Yeah, this was a 15-12 Grimscale Gang win, but this was another hard-fought match, especially with Swash McGurkle sweeping Quaz, like 3-0, and then this doesn't the other team definitely it's a 12-point loss, so that's almost a victory. Like one match flips and they win. Like have one game flips and they win. Like this was very close.
Yeah, definitely. And Grimscale Gang, having tight records, 3-2, 2-2, 3-2, 2-2, 2-3. They're not dominating, but they're like in the middle of the pack. They're holding on. They're not they're securing that playoff spot. So it's gonna come down to how they perform at the end of the season here. And Colt Wild having a tough season. Quaz 1-5, Duocat 0-6. I picked Duocat a few times, and I'm not gonna not pick him, but he's having a tough season. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like, let's see here.
the big
I'm
story
looking for the
is
deck list.
White
Oh.
Delight taking a loss from Absolute.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't expect it, given how dominant White Delight has been. The only time he lost prior to this was a hard counter lineup, which he has since, of course, text for. And to see 3-1 really shows that he is not unbeatable. So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's see here. Absolute brought Reno Priest and pure aggro.
yeah,
Other than
pure
that.
aggro. And you would not expect White Delight to lose to that. So, very much a shocker. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's any other decks that stand out. Like Duocat bringing Mech Paladin. I think that's the
Okay.
only.
yes, he has brought that for the last 2 weeks, I believe.
Interesting.
So, it's a homebrew mech paladin. So,
And Quaz bringing a Dragon Reno Priest.
yeah, it's a
And
strange list. It's a bit different from the
Yeah.
normal combo Reno Priest. It's a bit slower. It runs more of a mid-range dragon package instead. The goal is not really to combo as hard. Instead, it seems to focus more on the anti-aggro and just getting in a chunky mid-game plan instead.
All right.
So it's a
Just
unique
like the
take
old
on
Dragon Priest.
exactly. It's a unique take on Reno Priest. So
Gotcha.
See, the other only deck that I see stand out is the Mechathune Warlock from Catharsis.
yes,
Like,
that seems
brought
to
Mecha-
be a hard counter lineup, correct?
Yeah, like normally you don't bring Mechathune Lock because it's so fragile. But he probably
Yeah.
knew what MartyB was bringing. Let's see here.
Right, MartyB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was targeting J Druid Q Block with his lineup.
And hard combo will do that. So makes perfect sense. And as we see, it worked out very well. So,
Wait, Catharsis lost.
oh, my bad. It was 2-3, so it did not. So I can't read, guys. I can't read. I can't count. I'm a terrible
I
host.
love it.
Look at me eat my words. Don't listen to my predictions. But yeah, it didn't seem to work out, which is unusual given Q Block and J Druid how they can be. So, I think that covers
Worth
it.
noting, the Cube Warlock had a demonic project in it, so I wonder if Aviana turned into a flame imp or something.
It's entirely possible.
Mhm.
That would.
God, that's an ancient tech. Like,
Yeah,
the last
it
time I
is.
saw that played was a Liner Druid days.
It's been a minute, and the J Druid is also like, this is not a typical J Druid. This is a Breath of Dreams J Druid that includes Emerald Explorer and Evasive Worm and Crimson Hothead. This you can mid range. This Druid could mid range.
I don't know if I would consider J Druid mid range.
If you start adding 7 dragons to the deck.
Yeah, right?
Hmm.
I mean, when you ramp up to like 9 on turn 5, basically you're playing 9 drops into their turn 6. That's pretty mid range.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's almost a different deck at that point.
Yeah.
You're Oaken summonsing out Crimson Hotheads. Like that is a different deck.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I
J
forgot
Druid and
Crimson
Spirit.
Hothead. I forgot that card existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
like Kat said. It's been a minute. So
Well, no, that's a Skullman's cards in standard. It's just typically 4 mana 3/6s with spellburst abilities don't make the cut in wild, but in this particular case, it looks like it was a J Druid list that was hedging bets a little bit and had the plan of being able to get on board and pressure, which seems like it worked out against Mechathune.
yeah,
Because I don't know how else that deck beats Mechathune.
I was thinking of Demonic Project still. My bad.
Oh yeah,
But yes, you're right.
Yeah.
oh yeah, Demonic Project. That's
That's
it's
fair.
been a while.
So, but I do think it covers this matchup pretty well.
Yeah.
Hat, you ready for the Brown Conference?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. First up, we have Simp, Straight Impin, Metamorphin Pimpin versus the Caverns Below. You want to give us the rundown?
Yeah, just call me UPS because I'm going to ask what can Brown do for you. Let me give you the rundown here. So, Simp was able to take it over Caverns Below. Now, Caverns Below is the best meme team you're going to find this side of Wild because they seem to be a meme team, but they're taking sweeps. 2 sweeping in the 3 seed. pretty nice, even with that 2-3 record. The team looks to be getting 2-3 across the board. G-Kick, you got to catch up with that Zancat sweep in the 5. Finally getting Zancat on the board over here. But otherwise, it looks like Caverns Below put up a decent fight. Shoutouts to Number Theory with that Mechathune Rogue, which is a fascinating deck. But then look at Snake Fods in the 1 seed, sweeping 9 Eyebrows. The most important thing about this match, that 9 Eyebrows did not bring Paladin, which I can only assume is the reason that he lost. It must be that I brought Hungry Crab last week, and he had to ban it and got scared. There's no other logical explanation.
Did you actually bring Hungry Crab last week?
I put a Hungry Crab, when I faced him, I put a Hungry Crab in my Reno Priest deck over Sphere Sapiens, because Sphere Sapiens does nothing, and Hungry Crab eats a Murloc.
I believe he said that he was going to bring Murloc Paladin until he achieved his ultimate goal of having someone bring Hungry Crab against him.
Here we are. He banned it. I still hard countered the Paladin with Odd Warrior and I think Guardian Jade Druid and some other deck that just beat up on little things. Oh yeah, N'Zoth Reno Mage. So I hard targeted the Murloc Paladin, including the Hungry Crab, and I guess that's why it's not here. But 9 has been doing really well with that deck on the ladder, and people have been picking it up from him. So I guess it's just, if he's going to be like the hipster, now he's got to not play it. That's the dream. But Snakefod's been really killing it. Skittles put up another great performance. Overall, it's interesting. A closer match than I would have expected, given how powerful Simp has been and how Caverns Below has not seemed to be committed to winning as much. But they got some points in the scoreboard here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a 10-point loss. That's for Caverns Below. That's great. I mean, Simp has been on a downswing, so this is a good sign for them. Coming back. And there's been like 2-3 dominant teams in Brown, and Simp has been one of them. So they're not out. Not that they were at any point out, but they're showing that they're still one of the most competitive teams in Brown, I think.
Yeah, I believe they're in second place, and 89 points is nothing to sneeze at, especially with 14.83 points per week, which places them as 6th overall, I believe.
Exactly.
Still got nothing on 97 points.
Oh.
Moving on.
We want to talk points? Want to talk points, Marty?
Yeah,
We can
sure.
talk points.
How many points per week do you have?
Points per week? Is that the metric that we use to make playoff cutoffs? Is that what we do? I didn't realize that. I'll go and change the rules.
The reason why I'm saying that is because we had a bye week already. We had
Convenient.
our 2 bye weeks. So, we are a little bit behind in second place, playing 1 fewer week than any team tied or ahead of us.
It's okay, buddy. You're doing great.
Moving on. We have Rhat, your own team, Battleship 2, BBC, versus ItsMeMikeV's Annoyo team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a solid week. I will say shoutouts to Based Bill and A2 for the hard carry. Really enjoyed starting the week off with the win so that me and Corbett could just get completely dumpstered. Shoutouts to Dewin. I metagamed him last time, and he metagamed me this time. Because the first time we played, I was like, all right, Dewin's going to bring all Reno decks. So I brought, Bomb Warrior and Double Beneath the Ground's Odd Rogue and a bunch of crap that targeted all the things that he was doing, and it worked out very well. This time I was like, all right, he's going to see through that. There's no way he brings Reno again. So I'm assuming he's going to bring hard control, so I'll bring full combo. And he brought aggro. So I got. What can I say? I got. I did also... he told me I played well after the match. What he doesn't know was that I missed lethal in Game 4 and then lost that game. Whatever, no big deal. But also, I was against I was playing... I forget what I was playing, but he ended up with... Oh yeah, he was playing Reno Lock, and he ended up casting Reno Jackson 4 times that game, and I ran out of damage. So what are you going to do? But Dewin's a hell of a player. It was a really fun match, even though he beat me. And in part, that was because I made the wrong deck selection, in part because I straight up missed lethal in Game 4. Whatever, it is what it is. And Squirrel also showing the funky Squirrel decks do just fine. Took down Corbett. There were some... I watched those replays. I mean, Hearthstone happened, but Squirrel picked the right decks and was in the right place at the right time. But I will say, very proud of the bottom 3 seeds that we have over there. Mike, I saw your replays too. Sorry, buddy. That was a challenging match, I'm sure, to experience.
Oh, God. That was a very painful match. I think just with the decks to begin with, I was outmatched. It was my fault. I tried to force Mally Druid which was the biggest mistake. I should have tried to maximize points. Maybe have brought Bomb Warrior against Reno Priest. That would have made more sense. But I decided to try to force Mally Druid down the pipe and just got it thrown back in my face. It was terrible. Face played incredible. I actually apologized to her later because, like I said, I just closed the game. I didn't even say good game. I just closed the game and said goodbye. And I messaged her later on, and I was like, "Good game. I'm sorry." Because I'm always the type to talk after a match, but I was so embarrassed and angry with myself because I've just been playing terrible. So it was very frustrating. And that was the first match of the week, so I hate starting the week, getting swept, putting all the pressure on my teammates. It's just so frustrating. But you guys played really well, and you guys deserve the win. Also, I wanted to say that another team. This is something I just wanted to mention, but another team might have a new captain next season, and it's perspective, but it might be me. So we'll see.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big shout out to Matt at Arms. He's been a friend of mine for a long, long time, and the Detroit folks and the Inoyo team constellation there, really great people, just really high quality people, and it helps that they're good at Hearthstone. So it was a really well fought match, I think, and the opening to the week was pretty brutal for y'all, but you managed to bring it back in the top 2 seeds. So I think overall it was. I mean, that's kind of Hearthstone right now, right? In that standard wild battlegrounds, things are pretty swingy, and you guess wrong, you get punished, and that's how it's felt for a couple of weeks, no matter which side of the coin you're on. I got swept last week because I made the wrong guess and got the wrong draws, and I got beaten this week because, I deserved to based on what I brought. But it's Hearthstone right now is objectively healthy in a lot of ways and still feels pretty rough to play sometimes. And and I think that I have a lot of respect for another team for weathering the storm at the start of the week and still finishing pretty strong.
Yes, I agree. And that's where, shout out to Doing and MTG Squirrel for, coming in behind, knowing we're going to lose anyways, and still finishing strong.
And shout out to Doing for, just being really good at Hearthstone in general. He is pretty far up there in the crossover standings because, Doing.
Yeah, exactly. He's an amazing teammate. Just posting all the time, deck lists, ideas, theories. Just he's a great mind. He really is. So yeah.
All right. So I believe that covers all the conferences. Should we move on to power rankings then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So looking at these, gotta say we are a bit all over the board here.
Yeah,
I think Mike V is the most correct.
I appreciate that. I'm waiting for them to come to my screen. I think I'm just gonna switch.
Yeah, I think Mike is the most correct and Memnarch's the least correct.
I
Memnarch
wonder why.
is usually the least correct because he chooses to he just chooses to put power creeps at the top no matter what.
The NHL doesn't have power creeps on it. Or...
Say that again?
Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong one.
Power creeps could be 0 and 7.
Oh, I do not have power creeps. My mistake. Okay, power creeps should be 8th in this screen.
You have Grimscale twice.
He has Patch's Payback twice.
Oh, no.
Okay,
guys, I am so bad at making power rankings.
Oh, my God. You have 2 teams twice.
Your blue division is OP.
Oh, my
7
God.
teams to the blue division.
Hold on.
Payback has 12 points.
Let's fix.
Okay, so power rankings of hosts. I'm going to put Mike first. I'm going to put Memnarch second. NHL, we're still working on your position.
It's okay.
NHL
It's
got
okay.
disqualified.
Okay, I was missing
I'm actually, my power
creeps.
rankings are going to be Mike, Memnarch. That's all the hosts.
I see. I
So
see how it is.
I'll say, NHL or Marty, you punished another team very hard for losing this week. I understand, but I think we're still, you have us 1 above the Caverns below. I mean, we're not doing that, and we're below Nuke the Wake. I mean,
Hold on.
we're
I'm going to
not
fix
doing
this.
that.
It's okay.
You're
I'm going to
below
fix this.
You're below the Grimscale gang twice, so I think he's doing some editing.
Guys, it's fine. I'm fixing this.
below the Grimscale gang twice. I mean, anyway,
for-
Battleship. I'm gonna say I believe Battleship deserves the number one spot. I'm not punishing F12 for having a bye week. I just believe that an Oyo team right now is a powerful team, and Battleship has proved themselves by not only beating us, but beating us well, 14-9, and showing how good of a team Battleship is right now. F12 has been very consistent, and I think that it's almost it's not like a blowout. It's almost a tie for number one right now. Patch's Payback at number 3. Patch's Payback is on fire. Patch's Payback beat Bash Brothers this week. They just can't be denied. And Patch's Payback, I just have so much respect for them. They were one of the worst teams last season, and they're just doing amazing. Power Creeps won this week. I'm impressed. You guys are coming back. Bash Brothers, even though you lost this week, still consistent. Simp won. Coming back, doing great. Grimscale won. CZ Cheese lost. And at the bottom, the same teams. Diamond Club, Cavern Below, Cult Wild, just having a hard time. That's for me. We obviously have some differences. Like, I don't know if you guys want to explain the differences. Any thoughts? Any differences?
I did fix it, so it's okay now. Everything is okay. I
Did
have
you
board
move
space
another
invaders.
team lower?
I don't think your rankings are right still.
Shh.
Did you move another team even lower?
You want to know how I do my power rankings, guys? I can tell you right now.
Okay,
You
so first
spin
you
a
take one
circle?
division, and then you list it twice, and then you fill out the rest with whatever you have
Well, you see,
with the dartboard.
I was just about.
no,
to
I
say
was
you
actually
spin a
I
circle.
don't
Yeah,
use
got it.
dartboards. So what I do is I load up Hearthstone. Okay.
Okay.
And then I look at the teams and I see F12 Viridian. And of course I think, those guys are undefeated, so they have to go at the top. And from there, I have a bunch of RNG Clown Fiestas with different meme decks, and I decide, depending on how many times I lose in a row, that's where the team will go.
Oh my god. I'm not shocked at all. I thought it would be even.
I mean,
I figured it's better than just flipping a coin because I could actually put some skill and thought into it, but I still
No.
end up losing a lot.
So here's the advanced technique. Here's what you have to do. Right? All right. So we've got 3 conferences, right? We've got brown, blue, brown, and green. So every time you play Zephyrus, if you take the left card, you list a blue team. If you take the middle card, you list a brown team. If you take the right card, you list a green team. You keep doing that until you filled out your entire power ranking.
Yeah, but that means
Well,
playing
and-
Zephyrus, and Zephyrus is dumb.
okay, so what about the
You're
bias
dumb.
toward Temple Enforcer?
Well,
Like, how do we account for that?
Well, yeah, he's thick.
And you always seem to put board space invaders higher than they deserve.
Board Space Invaders didn't play, so I just left them where they were. Another
And
team
you
lost,
always
so I had to
put-
drop you guys.
You always put another team. If you could put another team 5th or 16th, I think.
I started. What happened was I started with this idea that I could do what I did last season, where I just move people up and down depending on their wins and losses. And it turns out that doesn't really work when there's 3
No.
conferences. So my strategy isn't really working, and it's a bit of a train wreck, but I can't really back away from it. I can't
Well, we used
stop.
to do
No.
one.
You
power
committed.
ranking,
I am
gonna
committed,
see it
so
to the
I am
end.
going down in flames, and it'll be okay.
I can
Hat,
respect that.
do you want to talk about your power rankings? I'm sorry, we're just rambling here.
So the first 3 teams are the division winners, and then I mostly went by points per week and total standings, except
bad.
for where I thought that we could nudge a little bit. It gets kind of murky between, like, say, Simp down to Grimscale Gang or so, or even Board Space Invaders. It gets kind of like you can fiddle with those teams a little bit. I think, unfortunately, the bottom 3 are pretty set. They
Yes.
just haven't really been able to consistently perform. The top 3 are pretty clear. And then in the middle, like, you can lean into points per week. You can lean into overall record so far. There are a lot of different ways to justify it. But I think roughly the teams have kind of separated themselves into the echelons they describe on THL POW, and it's pretty clear to see who belongs where. You've got proven, on the verge of being proven, still got a lot to work for, and then non-starters. And that's kind of the 4 tiers that we're looking at here. So just a question of which order you place the teams in each of those groups.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And I
Well,
agree.
power
'Cause-
creeps are 3-3 and have the highest points. Like there's 4-2 teams that have worse points than us.
I believe you, so why don't you win more?
Well,
Oof.
that's a great question. I blame RNG and things that aren't me.
Yeah.
That
we-
does
we
sound
actually-
plausible.
It's because he
Really
keeps running into
weird.
that one counter
They
matchup.
think the things that aren't me are really annoying. Like I don't want.
It's that one bad matchup for the deck EQs.
Yeah.
That's all
It's and this is a difficult format because at its base level it seems like it's either ban priest or target priest, but then you
Yeah.
can level that pretty clearly. And also it might be better just to run a best deck strategy, but also nobody knows what the best decks actually are.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh my-
It sucks
I don't
because we figured it out before nerfs.
well, yeah, it
Yeah.
was Dark Glare and Dark Glare accessories, but like it's at least more interesting now, and I'm glad that it's more interesting
after
now.
nerfs too,
I agree.
actually. I spoke about this before in previous weeks, but we came to the conclusion before the Jade Druid nerf that the best lineup was Reno Priest, Discard Warlock, a mage of your choice. You could pick between Reno Mage or Quest Mage, even Turtle Mage in some cases, and then you bring Jade Druid with a Guardian Animals package. And there was no real hard counter to all of that. And so you had just a bunch of very good decks with good matchup spreads that would eventually get you to your 3 wins. But now that doesn't
If you got the
exist.
queue order right. Like, that's the thing, is that you can't depend on queuing in the right order, and if you queue in the wrong order and your lineup falls apart, that means it's probably not a great lineup, because the pre-nerf format was incredibly unhealthy. Like, it was incredibly unhealthy. And also, sometimes people said, maybe it's a good idea if I bring Rogue. No, it's not a good idea to bring Rogue. Don't do it. Just don't do it. But post-nerf, it gets a lot more interesting, and there are a lot of different strategies out there, as well as there's just not as much clarity on what's actually good against what and what's on the table. We're seeing decks of crazy variety. So some people are leaning more towards hard targeting. Some people are leaning more towards, I'm going to play what I'm comfortable with. Do and beat me with Reno Warlock pretty handily because he's good at it. So I don't know. I don't think there's a clear answer here as to what lineup makes sense.
Not anymore.
I would watch Jack's meta report to figure it out, but because he spent so much time on that meta report, he couldn't even win his match last week. What do I do?
Yeah.
Just follow
Yeah.
my report. It's okay.
Oh man,
Whiskey
My
Roll.
my power rankings, easy.
Oof.
Just vote on F12 Arena win all the time, and vote on top teams. Follow them, and you'll win.
Grimscale
Trust your
gang
heart.
twice.
Trust your heart. Anyways, moving on.
Yes.
Yes, we can speed run predictions really quick. This should be pretty easy. First up, we have Bash Brothers versus the Cult Wild.
All right. Marty, you want to take the first one?
Yeah, so first matchup, we have Absolute versus Mr. Python. We seem pretty split on who's going to win this. 2 of us have Absolute, the other 2 have Mr. Python, so that will be a match to watch. For the 2 seeds right now, the second matchup, we have mostly Reverb taking this. Outside of Mike V, we all think Reverb will continue his win streak in, or just continue his success in general in Wild. And, yeah, we have him taking it. For the third, between Anubinator and Catharsis, again, we are split. Mike V and I have Anubinator taking it, Memnarch and Rhat. You 2 have Catharsis. I think that's really interesting. It shows how close these matchups really are. In the 4 seed, Mike, you kept to your word. And, oh, no, we are going with a full... I saw that. Can't fool me. We are all going for Jailstorm here. And then for the final matchup, all of you except for me have Zeroshio. I believe in Duocat. I think he can break his losing streak.
All right.
All right, next up, we have the Grimscale Gang versus Nuke the Waygate.
I'll take this one. In the first matchup, we have White Delight versus Rice Bowl. We have everyone except for Hat picking White Delight. Hat is picking Rice Bowl. It's a spicy pick, but I respect it.
Yeah, I picked the person with the larger number on the left.
Okay, I like it. In the second matchup, we have MartyB versus Black Swan. And also, everyone picked Black Swan except for Hat, who picked MartyB.
I picked the person with the smaller number on the left.
I like your method. I like it.
I just like MartyB. He's a cool dude. I've only had beers with one of these people, and it's MartyB, so I'm voting MartyB.
Okay. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Black Swan is a former teammate of mine, so I tend to lean toward Black Swan. A little bit of a bias. But I honestly respect him a lot as a player. He's a great player. Yo Daddy versus Caveira. We are split. Me and Hat picked Yo Daddy, and Memnarch and Caveira. And Swashbuckler versus Tomato. It looks like everyone's picking Swashbuckler except for Hat, who's picking Tomato. And Risa versus Silver T Fox Demon. It looks like. Hold on. My screen just. This is really unprofessional. My screen just went.
All good. Do you want me to get that?
Yeah, you want to get that one?
Yeah, so everyone but me picked Risa, and I am the only person that has faith in Silver T Fox Demon. Silver T Fox Demon, prove them wrong, please, for me.
Yeah.
And for
Which
yourself, of
also-
course.
Silver T Fox Demon had a great season last season, and I really thought that they would come in hot this season, and they've had a tough season. So I could see them winning, but Risa's just having a better season. It looks like White Delight, Black Swan, okay. I'm picking Grimscale Gang. Memnarch also picking Grimscale Gang. NHL picking Wild THL Fanatics. And Rhat picking Grimscale Gang.
Well, THL Fanatics.
Oh, I said the wrong name. This
You
is
mean
exactly
Nuke?
why I nuked the Waygate. This is
Yes.
exactly why I switched screens in the first place.
All good. All good.
Yeah.
Who's covering the next one then?
Memnarch.
What is the next one?
Board Space Invaders versus the Caverns Below.
Who's the first? Who are the players?
We have Blue Sombrero versus Nine Eyebrows first.
Okay.
At least
Alright,
I'm
I
not
see it
the
now.
only one.
All right. It looks like all of us are picking Blue Sombrero over Nine Eyebrows.
Blue Sombrero
I mean-
having the sauce.
Looks like all of us are picking Adamos. If I see this correctly, yes, all of us are picking Adamos as well. All right, so we finally get some variation here, where looks like two of us, NHL and me, are picking Hockey Boys, and Mike V and our Hat are picking twos. Can't wait to see the outcome of that.
Yeah.
right.
Cheese is a good player.
And Martian Boo versus Number Theory. Are we split again? No, it looks like three of us are going for Number Theory, and only NHL is going for Martian Boo.
Yes.
Maybe it's the Reno Demon Hunter.
Reno Demon Hunter, bring it again.
By the way, that wasn't the win last week. It was Demon Hunter.
I'm sad.
Oh, unlucky.
I'm
Yeah.
very sad.
Lefty got it in Game 5.
All right, looks like it for G-Kick versus FBM2.
Yes, Reggie.
Did we all go with G-Kick?
I believe so.
Yeah, it looks
He's
like we all
due.
went with G-Kick.
He's
Yeah.
due.
Yeah.
It's time.
Somebody has to win here. We have 0-6
I mean-
between the two of them. One of them is leaving with a win. Even it doesn't matter what happens in this match. Somebody has to win. So I think it's going to be G-Kick.
Man, I'm praying for a no contest now.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Let me see what I can do.
Well, moving on, we have Simp versus Anoyo team. Who's got this one?
Hat, you wanna take this one?
So Simp versus a Noyo team. Take a look at this match right here. So we have Snake Fods versus Dewin. The winner is the spectators. We need to have that on stream. That is the winner right there. But
True.
it looks like that we're angling towards Dewin. 3 of 4 people are angling towards Dewin. I have faith in Dewin, but Snake Fods is 6-0. So it's hard to bet against that, which I think
Yeah.
is why people love an underdog. Oh, so wait, so Lefty was the Reno Demon Hunter?
Martian Boo was. I thought.
Yeah, Martian brought the Reno Demon Hunter,
Just-
I believe.
Okay,
Let me
yeah,
double
Lefty
check
was just
that.
the opt, right? Yeah.
Oh, Lefty did bring the Reno Demon Hunter. My bad.
Oh, so Lefty,
Lefty did
so
win with
Reno
it.
Demon Hunter did get the win.
Yes, it
Oh
did.
my
God.
god.
Oh my god.
Yes, it was. So the confusion was Martian was playing it on stream, and it is Martian's list. Lefty brought it though. That's what it was.
2020 is redeemed.
Yeah, we were getting it confused.
Nice.
All right.
And so then we're looking at MTG Squirrel versus Skittles. It's split right down the middle, and that's going to be a fun match as well either way. MTG Squirrel brings the spicy decks. Mike
Yeah.
versus Nefola. That's split down the middle. But Mike, you picked yourself, so I don't know if we count that. Do we count that? Judge's
We
ruling?
count it.
I mean, there's laws against betting against yourself, right? Like, let's not hold this
Exactly.
against them.
We call it the Pete Rose law.
Yes. But there's also a law in Solarian Prime casting Yogbox, and that happened this past weekend, so I don't know. Anything goes in Hearthstone. We'll see what happens. But I think that'll be interesting. Succulent versus Mad at Arms split down the middle, and Zancat versus Slight. It looks like Slight has the edge on our picks, even though Zancat got that nice sweep last week. Remains to be seen. I think that we're leaning in general actually towards a Noyo team. Even
like
though Simp has a better record, 3 of the 4 of us picked a Noyo team to win, with the only exception being Memnarch. And we can't let Memnarch be right.
No.
Never.
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 I
Absolutely
mean,
not.
it happens a lot, so.
Does it?
That's
Does
why.
Only
That's why
purpose of
you
this
say
show.
that you're going to sweep every week, right? When does that happen?
It happened, I was going to say this last week, but Jack. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So, moving
All right.
on, keeping things going, we have F12 Viridian versus Wild THL Fanatics.
Marty, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I can run this down real quick. So, we're split on Ultimate and Electric Steep City. Memnarch and I both picking Ultimate. Mike V, you and Rhat taking ESC. In the second match, we all have Neji taking it. I'm very proud of everyone picking me for the third match over Brian O'Brien. On the fourth match, we are split between Itachi and Dr. Bombed. That is a match to watch. And then finally, we have the Rotted Zombie over Unlimited Power.
I
So-
think we have a few matches to watch. We have the Battle of the 4-1s in the first seed. We have a 4-1 versus 3-2. I mean, this is a lot of these are matches to watch. These are some great records here. This is a great matchup. I think even though F12 Viridian is arguably number 1, number 2 team right now, well, THL Fanatics I think is going to give you guys a hard time.
We will see. So,
Yeah.
and
All right.
finally, we have Seas of Cheese versus the Diamond Club.
All right.
Okay. I think that everyone voted the exact same.
Yeah, you can take this one. Mark.
Yeah, do you want to just
ahead.
make it real quick?
Go ahead.
All right, so we all voted that the Diamond Club would get swept by Seas of Cheese.
Nope.
Wait. No, we didn't. Mike V. What are you picked Trollden over?
I picked Troll because they
Scritch.
win they always win one match. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
picking Trollden here. Although Whiskey Wolf would be the smarter pick.
Dude, Whiskey Wolf. Rhat, you picked Whiskey Wolf. Actually, that's probably not. He's probably going to be the one who wins because he beat Jack last time.
Yeah.
So, very interesting.
Yeah, this looks really bad for Diamond Club.
Yeah, we say that every week.
Yeah. Maybe, just maybe they'll win though. If they do, I will have an entire 10-minute segment dedicated to them, and I will have a 200-word blurb on every single player on how wonderful they are. So
We're keeping you
All
to
right.
that.
you can.
please.
I will do that. So
200-word blurb on every player, a 10-minute segment dedicated to Diamond Club.
yes, you heard it here. So
I'm
go
gonna
get that
Oh
win.
my god. I cannot wait.
Anyways, that covers all of predictions. So we have one final thing that we can run through real quick. And that, I believe, is the deck of the week. So,
All right.
Rhat, you picked your own deck to feature. Do you want to walk us through it?
Well, it's not mine. I found it from Glore Magic. And Glore Magic, of course, if you don't know, was the source of Chinese meta spice and wild decks that are really awesome. I'm a big fan of following them and seeing things that are off the beaten path. And this deck is pretty far off the beaten path. And I'm not going to tell you it's the best deck, because that would be a lie. But I am going to tell you it's the most fun deck. And if you want to play with Wrathscale Naga and True Aim Crescent and Ace Hunter Crane in the wild format, do I have the deck for you? It feels really big brain, and I managed to lethal a priest. There was a priest, a quest priest, the old quest, not the new quest, the Death Rattle quest, that was roping me literally every turn starting from turn 1. Every single turn. Starting from turn 1. Not like let the rope expire and click the end turn button, just like roped out completely, let it blow up every turn. And I had lethal set up on turn 8. And I'll admit, I'm not too proud to admit, I roped them. But I attacked their face for 2, and they had 2 Wrathscale Nagas. They had a single 1/1, and I traded my single 1/1 and domed them for 6 for lethal. And it was very enjoyable. And if you're worried about Big Shaman, you're worried about Odd Paladin. Well, Odd Paladin you should probably be a little worried about, but Big Shaman, you have Consume Magic and Mage Hunter, 2 of each. You will not lose to large minions. You will be able to silence them pretty effectively. So, I don't know. It's fun. It's interesting. It's enjoyable. It's different.
It is.
A very different take on the deck, I feel.
Yes.
Odd Demon Hunter is really, really begging for some sort of innovation right now, and this is it. So, it might not be perfect.
Are you sure?
I mean,
there's a Chinese list with Nexus Champion Sarod.
Oh no, Nexus Champion Sarod. But I don't have that. I can't play that. I have to play this. This is like the best thing because I can play it.
Somebody bring this week, please.
There's no really arguing against that.
So, but yes, Rhat, do you have any other comments on this? How to play it? What to expect with it?
So far, I mean, you really want to fight for board. I think True Aim Crescent is surprisingly powerful. I usually recommend, if you're not against a deck that's going to care about board placement, play your minions left to right, just because True Aim Crescent attacks in play order. It's a lot easier to remember if you line them up on the board in the order that you played them. That way you don't have to worry about forgetting. And it's often correct to hero power attack and True Aim after if you think the game's going to go on for more than 4 turns and you're going to need to fight on board. But if you don't need to fight on board, don't be afraid to just attack for 1 with that True Aim if the game's not going to go more than 4 more turns. Because if you end with charges up, then you wasted them. So don't be afraid to manage the charges there. You can go turn 1 True Aim pass, turn 2 Coin, Henge Clan Thug hit. That can be pretty powerful. And Ace Hunter Crane is pretty strong if you are against a deck that cares about fighting on board. It was very good against the one Murloc Paladin I saw. They played a bunch of Murlocs, and I'm like, Crane, all your stuff dies forever, and you can never do anything about my board, and they lost. So it's just fun and different and definitely unexpected. You don't want to see Defile. Defile's bad for you.
Defile isn't a card, so
yeah,
it's not real. It can't hurt you.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. So
in Memnarch's world. All right.
Yeah. So
yeah, somebody bring this week, please, so we can talk about it next week and how it won or lost. Either way, I'd like to see this in the meta report. But NHL, thank you for OPing. Memnarch, thank you for being on the show, as always. And Hat, thank you so much for being our guest. Do you want to plug your podcast?
The best way to stay in touch with all of my content is over at twitter.com/ridiculoushat. I tweet too much, especially in the month before November 2020. It's probably better to just keep as much distance from Twitter as possible, but I don't. So you can find me over there. I do 2 podcasts, Coin Concede, about bringing the competitive scene, making it more accessible to you, about bridging the gap between casual and competitive and tournaments. And then the Vicious Syndicate Data Reaper podcast that comes out over the weekend's a companion piece to the Data Reaper report, really just about the standard meta and stats and information on what you should be bringing in developments within classes.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. We really appreciate it. All right. Thank you to all our viewers and to anybody listening to this during the week. We'll see you next week. Take care.